Welcome to this episode of The Sovereign Shift. And we're going to do something a little bit different today. And this was inspired by so many things. But mainly it was inspired by the pure helplessness that one can feel when we are bombarded every day with the reality, the horrific atrocities that are happening almost an entire world away. And just seeing the devastation, the pain that our brothers and sisters, our fellow human beings are experiencing. Now, I know that they say that the world we're living in now is safer than it's ever been. And don't listen to the news and all this shit. But the reality is that one person suffering is one too many. And what are we to do in the West when governments are failing and when there seems to be so little that we can do? And in the course of my own spiritual awakening, I realized that sometimes the most important thing that you can do is to heal your own trauma, heal your own ancestral wounds. It's a little bit like putting on the oxygen mask before you help others, but this too can seem just like not good enough in the face of so much suffering. And so what is the answer? Well, like everything else in life that's complex and nuanced, there is no right answer. It is a paradox. Because the truth is, we shall be healing. We shall be helping. By healing, we help. By helping, we heal. And however it is that you pitch in, and maybe the only thing that some folks are capable of right now is to look inward, and that's okay. And for others that have greater capacity to look outward, that's okay too. And so the last thing that we want to be doing is begrudge anybody for their journeys or how they're choosing to show up in the world. That can even seem controversial though, can't it? The problem with social media, the problem with judgment is that it removes the capacity we have for compassion. Because where there is judgment, there cannot be compassion. And the paradox of life is that there are all kinds of people around the table, and all belong there. This piece that I'm about to, not piece, I guess, but this transmission, this session is a channeled transmission, and the name of it is As We Lay Dying. It is a breathwork session, and so for this, I would suggest that if you are not in a space to get comfortable and go inward, then perhaps come back. But if you are, take the time, go into a dark space, put your headphones on, and breathe with me. Let's begin. This is a guided breathwork meditation and prayer. one that is coming from a place of acknowledgement and recognition, and heart heavy as we, the collective, come to terms with a world that seems out of balance, fraught, as the empires we have come to depend upon are at once both toppling and taking down everyone with them. As the collective comes to terms with white supremacy, colonization, racism, slavery, poverty, war, trafficking, cruelty, all of these things that contribute to the erosion of everything we have known up until now. The main breath that I focus on in my teachings, and I do teach many different techniques, is one that I call the woo breath. It is a fusion between what is called the full yogic breath of pranayama and the modern breathwork movement, which is characterized by inhales and exhales, the conscious, connected breath with no pauses between each. The reason for this breath is because it offers a full, embodied, deep breath in, which engages the parasympathetic nervous system. That breath is taken through the nose, filling the belly, the chest, the upper lobes of the lungs, followed by a deep and slow exhale, low and slow through the mouth, squeezing all the breath out so that the exhale is much, much longer than the inhale. The reason for this breath, forcing out all that which no longer serves, all that old air. I also call this is just me now, I call this the death breath. Somewhere in my past, I read that when we lay dying, our breaths, our exhales elongate. They're far more expansive than the inhale as we prepare to let go. And in truth, that's what today's session is about. For this practice today, I will ask and invite you to use the woo breath, that deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, the chest, and the upper lobes of the lungs, followed by a deep, deep breath out, squeezing all the air out as we lay dying, the collective on its deathbed. The end of the version of you, of me, of us together, as we say goodbye to the version of us that ever thought it was acceptable to oppress, to take, to murder, exploit, enslave, uproot, devour, and all the other things that we have done to each other. And when I say think it is acceptable, not that any one person would ever say that it is acceptable, but by the very fact that it continues, something in the collective says it is acceptable. As we lay dying, it is ourselves that watch from around the bed, a mirror. And so let us say goodbye now. Keep the breath moving through the body. Listen to my voice. Sit or lie down, whichever is most comfortable to you. We, the people, the souls, the gods of this place, cut ties with the darkness that keeps us bound in old patterns. With love and horror on our tongues, on our hearts we speak words and slit our wrists in solidarity for the flesh and blood that lie in heaps in Gaza. We send your souls to source, in grace you go, in thanks everlasting, a debt that cannot be repaid, but for the circle of karma and the wheel of samsara upon which your murderers will return till they too clear their own, unless, by the light of forgiveness, we all let go. As we lay dying, with the grace of God, of Source, of all the masters that have walked this planet since dawn, since the beginning of mankind, we touch the heads of all the children who have ever worn the mantle of suffering, of witnessing mothers and fathers wrenched from life miserably. We kiss your heads and let you go in grace. As we lay dying, to every soul who has inhabited the body incarnate, part of a tribe, a group, wrenched from your home, your land, the ancestral memory of displacement, of hunger and sickness, of enslavement, of rape and torture and violent ends, of the trauma that ensues and is remembered in the DNA and the bones. You are seen. For every human being and child of Earth indigenous to this planet, at one time or another has suffered this fate, and thus the wheel keeps spinning. The patterns of suffering, the changes of power, the winds of change that sweep through and overturn and churn and churn, and over time forgotten as new empires rise and fall, for all the stories forgotten in empty halls. Crumbled memories for all those beings unremembered. As we lay dying, we are listening. To the mothers forsaken by their village, the non-existent village, who have had to say goodbye to their babies, whether taken in the womb, whether taken while still young and filled with the glory of life, whether wrenched from life in the killing fields. It is the mothers that must say goodbye, who in remaining are truly the casualties of war. As we watch the resourced of the world decrying hoarders on TV and celebrating hoarders of wealth, while elders die alone in filth, while children starve around the world, laid to rest not long after making their entrance. This is the world we've inherited. And yet, as we lay dying, is it also the one that we now let go of? Billions of people on this world, on this planet, billions of people with hopes and dreams and resources plenty to create, fulfill, empower, and do. Billions of people that hate billions of others because of stories told by those who know that to keep everybody fighting is to ensure that they keep losing. There is no winning with that world. We who lay dying see the truth, and as we lay dying, see the stories for what they are, the patterns, everything that we believed to be true and nothing at all real as we lay dying, our circuits firing, the stories swirling in our mind's eye as we prepare to say goodbye. We see there's a glimpse from beyond of what could be. Some have said that violence is in our nature and that this is purely a place for the 3D to work itself out violently, and that all is perfect. We who lay dying see that there is no such thing as perfection except that which exists within our hearts. Perfection of heart is compassion and knowledge that life is sacred, that we are of love, and that when we are done playing these brutal roles, that being done can simply mean there is no more need, for the lesson has been learned and integrated. For what does enslavement teach? But we become what we do what we become, and that no one is ever truly free who exists in a society where enslavement exists. That no one is ever truly wealthy who lives in a society where people are starving, where there is never truly peace in a world where children and mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers and sisters and brothers are torn limb from limb by technology sent from half a world away. We who lay dying. We who lay dying. Breathing the last breath of this empire, this horrible system of systems. Let this breath be the last. As we lay dying, we call out a name. The one name, the word that has forever stirred our souls to movement, to tears, to love, to anger, to vision, fear and violence, that which created us and yet forsook us, all at once. The mother who birthed us and left us on the rocks. The father who left us to die. As we lay dying, we cry out to God. The aching for feeling, belonging, for the loneliness, the source of all our fear and violence. God, end the separation. The ache of humanity has always rested on the rock of aloneness. Our rock bottoms being those times when we did not hear the words whispered on the wind. I love you. Could not feel warm hands cradling our bodies. When we felt so alone and left to our own devices, we devoured one another. The irony being that in our loneliness, our misery, our fear, to devour another was to take their essence, and yet it left us more alone than we were before. And we who lay dying see that all efforts of empire has only ever been to create the illusion of safety, of union, to build a strong gate to keep out the darkness, not knowing that the darkness had been locked inside with us the whole time. And in the building of this wall of empire, it was that which kept out the voice of God. That voice which never went anywhere. It never left. But how could it ever leave you, child of God? Where could it possibly go? As we lay dying and call out the name, the holy name, the name which, when spoken, opens the portal from one's heart directly to creation itself. Amma, the mother, the wellspring of infinite love who cannot look upon your face without succumbing to pure joy. Amma, that which made you. You are theirs and they are yours. And it is in Alma and forevermore that you belong to each other. This is God, Source, Creator. This is that which has worn so many different clothes, called by so many different names. As we lay dying, it is the sacred name, the light that touches that place within, that knew that we were never separate to begin with, and that each hurt was really just self-inflicted. Each hurt against another, returned in kind. My love, you are not separate. You are never alone. And you are always held. In the name of Amma, in the name of the Creator, rest in peace. It will not be long. before you are needed to usher in the rebirth, the great emergence of a new world.